In this video, we're going to talk about how to deal with feelings of worthlessness. And make sure you stay tuned until the end of the video, where I'll talk about one thing that you can do that will change the trajectory of your life forever. The first thing you can do to combat feelings of worthlessness, or really any area of low self-esteem, is to recognize that you may be wrong. You have this opinion of yourself, but it is highly unlikely that your opinion of yourself is actually objective and correct. For example, when most people look in the mirror, they see their flaws. When you're looking at yourself, you probably see a lot more of your negative qualities than most people do. And so your opinion of yourself, if you're like most people, is likely to be less than reality. You think that you're uglier than you really are. I used to suffer from this myself. There was a time, for a long time, most of my life really, I thought I was one of the ugliest persons in every room that I was ever in. It turns out I was completely inaccurate, but it took me years and years of being told otherwise before I finally believed people. But ultimately what helped is I recognized at some point in my life, several years back, that I was just wrong. My opinion of my own physical appearance was not accurate. And if I wanted to have a true idea of what I looked like, I just needed to get the opinions of a bunch of other people and take the average of that. Now this might go against a lot of what you hear. A lot of people say, I dress to impress me, or I just dress to make myself happy, and that can potentially be good from a self-esteem standpoint. But if you're dealing with feelings of low self-esteem, if you're dealing with feelings of worthlessness, then you have to recognize that what you think of yourself is not the most accurate opinion, and is not really the most important opinion. What you want to do is just say, okay, I'm wrong. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm doing here. I need to get a new opinion about what I look like, and the best way to do that is to ask other people. Other people's opinions of you are much more likely to be objective. Not all of them, but that's the reason why you get a nice big sample. And it's not just about physical appearance, although that's the example I've given. Whatever it is that's making you feel worthless, maybe you feel dumb, maybe you feel like you can't do anything right, other people's opinions of you are almost certainly going to be less negative than your own. Now there may be exceptions. Maybe your problem is that you've gotten this from your family and they were always extremely negative towards you, and their opinions might actually be worse than your own, but they're just a small sample, and you don't want to take only their opinions into consideration. The average opinion of the vast majority of people is likely going to be a much more accurate vision of what you truly are like than what you think or what your family thinks. And speaking of family, the second thing you want to keep in mind is recognizing that this opinion of yourself is not coming from reality, but rather from your upbringing, or in some cases from a very toxic relationship you've had that really lowered your self-esteem. For example, when I was a very young child, my dad used to sometimes tell me that I was useless as tits on a boar. Now, mind you, I was so young, I didn't even know what the expression meant. And occasionally my mom would tell me things like, he really shouldn't say that to you. It's not fair. You're just the scapegoat of the family, which I didn't know what that meant either. But later on, I learned that the scapegoat is the person who gets blamed for everything, whether or not they deserve it. This upbringing absolutely crushes a child's self-esteem. They're young, they don't know any better, they're just sponges that accept everything that's said about them, and they don't critique it the way an adult might. And so the result is you can really destroy a child at a very young age through just bad parenting techniques. And so in my case, I dealt with feelings of worthlessness and low self-esteem for most of my life until I finally started working on myself. And so this is a very common thing. Just recognize that your opinion of yourself is less likely to be based on true objective reality than on the things that certain other key people have told you, especially if they told you when you were young or in any vulnerable situation, such as a very strong relationship where you were very attached and you were giving their opinion too much credit, and they turned out to be a very toxic, negative person that was just bringing you down and crushing your self-esteem. The third thing you want to watch out for is recognizing that your feeling of worthlessness or low self-esteem may come from seeing negative events as your fault. A lot of people are either going to fall into the category where they tend to blame others for what's wrong, or they tend to blame themselves for what's wrong. And I myself fall into this latter category. I tend to take responsibility for everything that happens around me. If something goes wrong, I assume I could have done better. If somebody hits me with their car, I start wondering what I could have done to avoid being hit by that car. If I get in a fight with my significant other, I tend to be focused on what I did wrong to cause that fight, not what the other person did wrong. And I'm not objective about this at all. I am always looking for my place, my responsibility, even when something is clearly the other person's fault. So you want to take into consideration that if you're taking too much responsibility for the things that are happening to you, it could result in lowering your self-esteem or giving you a sense of worthlessness. Now, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. I actually really like my tendency to take responsibility for the things that happen to me because I can learn from them. Rather than having to be mad at everyone else out there in the world, I'm just looking at myself and saying, okay, I messed up, I could have done this and this differently, and next time it's going to be better. And in a lot of ways, it's empowering and it prevents a victim mentality. So it can be a good thing as long as you're not overdoing it and actually thinking of yourself as a bad person and getting down on yourself and berating yourself and saying mean things to yourself simply because you did something wrong on this one occasion. This video was inspired by a viewer that asked about what to do about feelings of worthlessness, so make sure you give this video a like, and if you have any topics you'd like to hear me talk about, leave a comment about that as well. So now that we've discussed why you might suffer from feelings of worthlessness or low self-esteem, let's talk about the things that you can actually do about it. The first thing that you can do is to just be nice to yourself. If you haven't seen my video on dealing with a mean, critical inner voice, you're definitely going to want to check that out. Most people say things to themselves that are far meaner than they would tolerate other people saying to them. They drop and break something, they call themselves stupid. They mess up, they call themselves an idiot. This is absolutely not helpful. You want to learn to have yourself, your own mind, that inner voice, be your own cheerleader. It should be someone that encourages you, that supports you. This is your voice. You get to make it say whatever you want. So rather than allowing it to be mean and critical and unhelpful, have it be supportive and encouraging and uplifting, because it really will make a significant difference in your life. The second thing you want to do to help with this is to notice how you treat yourself differently. If someone else were to have done something and you would have forgiven it, but then you do it and you won't forgive it, then you know you're not being objective. If you see somebody else trip and fall and you just think, oh, well, sometimes that happens to people, but you trip and fall and you're like, I'm such an idiot. You need to recognize that you don't treat yourself the same way that you treat other people. You're giving other people the benefit of the doubt, and you're being unnecessarily mean and critical of yourself. So notice that. Pay attention to how you treat other people and how it differs from how you treat yourself, and learn to treat yourself better. The third thing you can do is focus on helping others. You'll probably notice a theme to this channel where I try to teach you how to be kind and supportive and helpful and improve the lives of others, and you'll discover that it really is a better way to be. It will make you happier, it will make you feel better about yourself, and it will give your life a more worthwhile feeling. It also has the very advantageous side effect that people value people that treat them well. If you're feeling worthless, then having a whole lot of people out there that don't think you're worthless, that actually seem to benefit from you, that are happy that you're in their lives, are absolutely going to help you combat that. So being a better person that treats other people well and uplifts them and makes them glad that you're in their life will absolutely give you all kinds of evidence to combat this feeling of worthlessness. Like we talked about before, you're probably not objective and you may not see it all the time, but the fact that it's there, staring you in the face of all these people that value you and care about you, totally makes this worthwhile. You want to take the time to help other people. I can tell you that focusing on helping other people makes a huge difference. I started this social skills project just to improve my own abilities, but over time it became a business where I help other people, and I recently even started a charitable wing, the SEAL Project, that's dedicated to teaching younger children these social skills at a very young age so that they don't end up growing into the adults that have the problems that you and I may have had. And this helps so much. It's just so satisfying to give back to others, and you can find any way in your own life to do this. You could learn to give good compliments like I talked about in my last video, just as a way to uplift people's lives. You can volunteer, you can do whatever it takes to just help other people have a better, happier life, and you'll discover you don't feel worthless when you're helping other people. The fourth thing you can do is to be more productive. Literally prove to yourself that you're not worthless by getting more things done. If you live a life where you're just kind of ho-humming around the house and just not doing much of anything, and you barely get by at work and you barely do much of anything, it's very easy to feel like you're worthless because you're not contributing anything. So the more you get done, the more you contribute, the more productive that you are, the more you're going to feel like you have a real purpose and that you have something that you're contributing to this world that makes you feel worthwhile. And I mentioned at the beginning of the video that there was one thing that you could do to change the trajectory of your life forever, and that is to find something worthwhile that you can just throw yourself into. A project that you can dedicate yourself into and just make that the purpose of your life, at least for the time being. That is exactly what happened to me. In 2014, I decided to dedicate my life to perfecting social skills. I started my project to perfect charisma, and all I did with all of my free time was focus entirely on learning social skills and practicing them out in the real world, and my life has never been the same. I felt like I had such a purpose, such a reason for being, such a reason for existing, and it turns out that everything in my life changed. I learned an incredibly useful skill that resulted in making new friends, created a job opportunity, a company that I literally created myself, based entirely on the need that other people had. That feeling of worthlessness just completely disappeared because I proved it wrong, and at the time that you're dedicated to this project, It is absolutely fulfilling. You will feel amazing having something to focus on every single day that feels so worthwhile. And if you're not sure what to dedicate your life to, if you're not sure what to focus on, at least for the time being, I would strongly recommend social skills. It is obviously the passion of my life. It is obviously the thing that completely changed my life, and it can change yours too. The ability to deal with people in a successful and productive manner will absolutely change the trajectory of all the things that come in the future. And if you're not sure where to get started, I strongly recommend the Social Skills Mastery online training program linked in the description below. It has over 100 videos and nearly as many exercises that will keep you occupied and focused on learning extremely valuable skills that will change your life forever. So check out that link in the description below and keep watching this channel as I'll have more great videos coming your way that will help improve your life.